What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin. And where do all fights start? Round one. We have an amazing show for you here today. Stick around, hit that like button for me as you join the live stream. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. So let's get right into this episode. So, wait up. Well, the let me see here. Hold on. All right. So what I wanted to do today is do a recap of this Keyshawn Davis and a fight card, Valentine's Day Massacre. I think that the fight went fairly well, the fight card. It was an interesting night for Top Rank. They showcased a lot of their upcoming talent. I want to break down a lot of their upcoming talent. Abdullah Mason made a ring return. I thought he looked pretty good. We want to break down that fight, the Xander Zion fight, the Keyshawn Davis, and what I thought about the card in its entirety. You know, there was a young man on the card too as well. De Jesus. I want to break down his fight. I like the way that he looked last night. The way he orchestrated this knockout. And for your debut for a young fighter, we're going to break down that fight. I think that Xander Zion in this card right here, there was a lot of questions coming into this fight for this young man. And he was fighting Spoomer here, right? And he was an undefeated fighter. So we can't forget that. Now, through all of this, Xander Zion, whether he's ready, whether or not, he's ready for the top guys at 154. The question for me was, how's he going to look against better competition? And then to add to the drama, Roy Jones Jr. himself was coaching Spooner. He was in his corner. So, to see the legend, and the champ, Roy, in the corner, sometimes you can be like, okay, this, you could think that this guy is going to be on the level that, damn, he might just beat Xander Zion, right? So Xander Zion was fighting a lot of criticism last night. And also, where does he stack in the division? He went into this fight, and I want to break down this fight with you guys for educational purposes. And to look at this young man right now, right? Everybody's viewing him, and they're saying, oh, he's not ready for this guy, and this guy, Terrence Crawford, and whether or not he can beat Sebastian Fundora, right? And I have to remind the world that we are talking about a 22-year-old kid. 22 years old. Now, there have been other 22-year-old, fighters in the world that have achieved a lot. Mike Tyson, young man in his 20s, world champion, heavyweight world champion of the world. Devin Haney, I think he was undisputed by 23. Now, there have been young men, that have done some remarkable stuff. And in the sport of boxing, sometimes right place, right time can get you that fight. And those opportunities, just like Keyshawn Davis took advantage of last night. And when we're talking about Xander Zion, he hasn't even gotten his man strength right around 25, 27. That's when I've been waiting for fighters like, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Because Ryan Garcia is powerful right now, but he's young. He's young. And there's a lot of these fighters that are coming up that are, you're starting to see them, their appearance change. And one of the fighters, in fact, right, is Cormier Moten. The dramatic change that that young man has made in just the last year, it looks like he went through puberty. His structure, facial, everything. He don't look like that charming little kid. So you're going to see these fighters start to age in the sport. And Xander Zion, I want to take a look at this fight with Spooner here. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights. We're going to see some of the things Spooner did well, too, in fact, in the fight. He did catch Xander Zion with some big shots. Xander Zion showed, you know, he has a beard. He can take a punch, right? In order for Spooner to get the attention of Roy Jones Jr., he must have been doing something right. He must have been putting down these guys in the gym with those shots that young Xander Zion took. So let me get your chat messages up too. Okay. And here we're gonna let's see here. Let me pull this up right here. Hold on, where's my, all right. Yeah, let's try this. Boom. Now, for educational purposes, we're going to be taking a look at these two fighters. This is Xander Zion and Spooner last night. Let's check it out. Come on, don't ask.
Nice uppercut on the inside.
Why is it skipping now? Oh, it's not going to let me play it. It's really not. Wow. Yeah, this is not going to work out. I don't know why, but all of a sudden, this is not going to let me play it. Not good, not good. All right. So, wow, she got back now. So, I wanted to play the Xander Zion top rank fight last night, but apparently it's not working out right now to let me play it for you guys, and I'm not going to play it like that because I can see that it's glitching out. So, but what took place last night was, you know, two competitors, you know, trying to make their way up the 154-pound weight division. You know, and Spooner really showed up last night, and he really gave young Xander Zion all that and more. Xander Zion had to really dig into his bag and go the distance. You know, it almost went to the 10th round, but in the beginning of the fight, Xander Zion came out strong, and Spooner showed his resilience. He took, and for the most part, Xander Zion's best shots in the first 2-3 rounds, and Spooner was there to exchange with him. He had an awkward style, and very, very. It was it, it he kind of lured young Xander Zion into some of those exchanges where that he landed some big shots on Xander Zion. Xander Zion was really getting into his groove, and the 4th round, he really had him hurt. He did some good body work, and he showed that he hurt him. He tried to, you know, not like stifle his attack and try to, like, you know, back up and create distance. But, you know, the crowd, the moment, for a young man being so young, 22 years old, he's really showing his maturity in boxing. Young Xander Zion. I did like his patience. His timing was a little off, and his distance management, but that's expected. That's expected, right? He was trying to set up his shots, and sometimes in between the action, he would he would be like hyper focused that he wouldn't anticipate Spooner throwing something back. And Spooner would hit him with a shot and remind him, and then he would become defensively responsible in the next exchanges. Xander Zion. The next time Spooner tried to hit him, he would block it. But Spooner had to teach him a lesson, and he would quickly be reminded and correct it. And then little by little, Xander Zion would be like lulled to sleep a little. He would find success, and in that success, he would forget Spooner would throw something back. And Xander Zion got caught a couple times like that. Learning curves, expected. For a young man in the position that he's in right now, everything he did last night, I was nervous coming into like I'm always nervous. And that's why I watch boxing. For the unknown. And I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm amping myself up. And when you have one of your favorite boxers or someone that represents something for you, it means something to you. As a fan, that's why we watch it, right? So when the young man comes, high hopes, expectations lie on his shoulders, whether he wants it or not. And he understands his responsibility in the game is to bring Puerto Rico a world championship. Say it for what it is. It's beautiful. And what he did last night, young Xander Zion, great job. Great job. Always improve on your game. I'm sure you're gonna go back, watch this fight, and you're gonna take a lot away from the fight. What's up, Salute baby? How you doing? Well, I wouldn't say pillow fisted. No more than I would say Spooner was tough. But Spooner had a beard. He was undefeated. No one's ever knocked him out. No one's ever stopped him. Pillow fisted. He just got stopped by pillow fist. I don't think Spooner made it to the 10th round, right? I mean, that's the fight I watched. Accumulation of punches? Sure. There 1,000 boxers win like that every day. One punch knockout power? Give it time. He's 22 years old. Not every 22-year-old kid got one punch knockout power. Unless your name is De Jesus. Because that kid proved last night he got one punch knockout power. And sometimes people get punching power confused by one punch knockout power, right? Okay, you would think that when Gervonta Tank Davis knocked out Frank the Ghost Martin, what's that, one knockout punch power? No, you would be wrong. That was a sequence of punches. Didn't he hit him with an uppercut before he was staggered on the thing and they just banged him? So that wasn't one punch. One punch means you hit the guy, pop, and he goes. That's one punch right there. A lot of the guys that were not, they were a sequence of events, a combination. Mike Tyson. A lot of, one punch. Wait a minute. Really? It was one punch knockout power? He does have one punch knockout power, Mike Tyson. That's 100%. Sometimes when they argue in those conversations, he knocked out this guy with one punch. I was like, no, he went down to the body. Then he went up with the hook. That's a sequence. Mike Tyson, though, does 100% have one punch knockout power. He's a poor example to use, right? Because he will put your lights out with one punch. Absolutely, right? But that's what I'm saying. A lot of these fighters usually knock the guy out with a 2-piece, a 3-piece, a combination of punches. Xander Zion knocked his opponent out with a combination. Well, the referee had to stop, help him. He had to come in and save his life. Because had the referee not intervened, he'd probably still be getting punched on those ropes right now. Getting his head punched in. So, I mean, 22 years old, not knocking everybody out, but stopping, still undefeated. I'll take that. I'll take that. You might not have to knock out everybody you fight. You can still be a great, amazing champion. You know? Floyd was going the distance with everybody at the end. 12 rounds. Still the best. Still the best. And you can't say Floyd was pillow-fisted. Floyd was handicapped. He was a handicapped fighter at the tail end of his career. You want to talk about a situation where a guy had to switch his style of fighting, develop a new concept of fighting, master it, and still be undefeated with a new style. Floyd did it. And look as fluent as he did. Floyd didn't fight the Philly shell defense in none of his earlier fights until he had complete control of the fight. You ever notice that? When Floyd would come out, he was a monster. He was a monster power puncher. He brutalized everybody, right? And the only time he would hop in that Philly shell, when he had you. Floyd knew he had you, and he would shine on you. He'd do that shoulder roll, and you couldn't hit him, and he'd stand right in front of you. Floyd wouldn't run nowhere. Then all of a sudden, just kept breaking his hands, bro. They told him, you're not going to box ever again. All those surgeries failed. They kept failing and failing. Then Floyd took that 2 years off and went to Japan, and he got that massive surgery done to his hands. After the 2 years, he came back. He missed weight. They fined him like $100,000 a pound. He missed like 3 pounds or 2 pounds or some shit like that. He came back, and from that night on, Floyd developed that moving style of boxing, the evading style. Floyd was born. And from there on, it was no more knockouts really from Floyd. You know? But he showed his power, man. He came back. He dropped homeboy, I think, in the first round. He was like, check hook. And then he took him the distance and just schooled him. But from that moment on, Floyd was a different fighter. He was a different fighter. Yeah, after those surgeries, they told him he wasn't going to ever fight again. His hands were trashed, bro. Fucking, they was like, you're going to have the worst case of arthritis. Like, fucking Floyd's hands were like this. He didn't know what to do. He lucky he had all that money, bro. Floyd lucky. Fucking did that surgery, bro. I wonder what they did. They put titanium metal hands. He's fucking really Wolverine. What kind of surgery was that? I wonder what that shit was like. You know, you hear rumors about it. I really don't know what they did to fix his hands. Because everything he tried failed. He used to dip his hands in like that fucking wax shit. Like fucking 3 times a day. Like a therapy. It was like a wax. He would dip his hands in that. Be like this all day, Floyd. And then they like peel it off. And then he'd do it again. Boom, boom, boom. That shit didn't work. He did he did like acupuncture shit. They couldn't save his hands until he went to Japan. He did that massive surgery to both his hands, yeah. And then he just became this, he had to change. That was a handicapped fighter right there. If the gods bless Floyd with Roberto Duran's hands, the hands of stone, them shits seem never to break. If Floyd got Roberto Duran's hands, Jesus Christ, he'd have beat the brakes off everybody, bro. Yeah, he had to adapt, or he couldn't be Floyd no more. He would never fight again. He had to adapt like a motherfucker. Yeah. damn, this sucks. I guess the powers that be were like, yo, we gonna fucking cancel your show, nigga. keep playing around and putting these fights up, because I don't know how they do it. Them other channels, they be putting up the full video, getting donates, getting chats, subscribers. I'll be like, how are they doing this? I have no idea how they do it and get away with it. Bro, I put up one video, the feds jumped through my window. Yeah, all right, I won't do it again. I won't do it again. Bro, they be on me. And I was going to put this one on and I put like monetizes. Like, okay, take the, all right, whatever. But somehow, every day it works perfect. I go to do it, like I decided I'm going to put it today. Boom. I'm like, wow. But so I already know that I'm not going to put up none of the videos. I was going to break them all down. I was going to do Xander Zion, Keyshawn Davis. I was going to give a shout out to Alberto Jesus Christ, tongue tied here. And De Jesus, you know who I'm talking about, the Dominican fighter. He looked great. 147. What can I say? Polanco, right? Right? That's not David Polanco. What the fuck am I thinking? I got too many fighters in my head, bro. Way too many fighters. Hold on. What's his damn name? Give me a second. Let me look at my notes here. I just had him on my show because I got to. Where's the other notepad? Is this the one? All right. Nope, I threw that away. That's not it. I got my desk is a mess. I have paperwork and notes everywhere. All right. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? He looked great. 147. I was like, okay, he looked strong. I wanted to see how his speed looked, how his power looked. What can I say? He put a great performance. The young kid from Puerto Rico shocked me last night. We all know who his dad is. And it's tough. It's tough living up to your dad, and if your father or your mother was an athlete in the very sport you are in, and if they achieved or did some shit. Sometimes you pass your father in the sport because maybe he wasn't as good as the son. But sometimes the son never really lives up to the dad, right? And that's tough sometimes when you're trying to make your way as your own athlete. You don't really want to have to put down your father's success, but you want to break away from that and become your own man. You don't want the conversations everywhere you go just lead to your dad. Kind of sucks. And you as the son, you gotta know when, like, they're trying to get me to like turn on my family here or get me to say something, because of all the questions. You got to take a deep breath and always know, don't worry, I'll make my way. You'll see, I'm going to make my own name. And what a start for the young man's career. Juan, it was a good performance in a lot of different ways. I'm not sure if you really study the sweet science or just are a fan of a knockout or how you view the sport. But from what I saw last night, his movement, his upper body and his feet were in sequence. He was bouncing good. He had a great understanding of fighting. Whether or not he really made his opponent look average, we didn't really get to see a lot of the other kid because he wasn't there but only 59 seconds. Talk about when we talk about these fighters and we say he fought a tomato can or he fought a cab driver or this, that, and the third, and he went the distance with him, right? If someone's not on your level, then damn it, prove it. He showed you don't belong in the ring with me on my debut. So he came out the gate firing on all cylinders. And I want to see more of him. I can't get captivated in the moment. It's his debut. I didn't know anything about the Mexican kid, like I didn't know anything about him. Right? So I got to see a glimpse into the future, the possibilities for this young man. And I like what I saw. His adjustment in the ring, his little patience, and his sharp shooting. His speed was good. It was good. His timing was great. Like I said, I don't really have a measuring stick because I don't know the Mexican dude. I don't know if he just like, see, if the next time I see that Mexican kid and he like destroys his next opponent, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, right? Because there's your measuring stick. Because and then if the Mexican kid comes out in his next fight and knocks out the other dude or like outshines them and looks great, that's gonna speak to how good De Jesus really is. When he made that step around that he went to go and to engage into the uppercut, he saw the Mexican kid react to his uppercut. And I mean, this shit went down in split-second timing. I'm slowing it down for you. The Mexican kid actually saw the uppercut coming. He started to go like this to making an adjustment for it. And the Puerto Rican kid, instead of throwing the uppercut straight, he changed the trajectory of his fist. Now, mind you, you guys know I watched the fight with no value. So, you know, I was calling it as I see it, right? And sure enough, they said the same shit because I saw it. Yo, he went like this. He threw that uppercut. He went, and he saw that he was gonna go, and he changed it, and he made it like a shovel uppercut, and he caught him. Bow, square. Listen, he hit that kid into the realm zone. He didn't know where he was. My man's hands was stretched out like this, and his toes was pointed. He was like, and he was looking up at the referee, like, why are you counting, right? Yo, yeah, Tim was right? I bet if they asked the kid, yo, you all right? The kid was gonna be like, yeah, but why y'all in front of me? Why have we started fighting yet? He didn't know where he was. I bet you he didn't even know he got knocked out. They had to tell him the fight was over. He didn't know the fight was over. Probably. Yo, he hit him into oblivion. He said, oh! That man was like this. I was like, oh shit. That's one punch knockout power. That wasn't a sequence of events. It wasn't, he was breaking them down by punches, round through round. You know, it wasn't none of that. That was a true walk-off. I'm out. And he did it in the first round, where both of you either should be, cold, a little cold, or, and you could say that you guys are at the strongest. You should be at the strongest. Now, if you relax in the fight, I guess that's pretty much on you, right? Or if you come out a little cold, then you should have been hitting more pads in the back. Warm up. I don't know. Get on the treadmill, right? Whatever fighters do. Some fighters can be faster than the others. Fighters can be slow starters. So I really want to see a little bit of that Mexican kid, because I just want to know how good is he? I only got 56 seconds of the man, and he was stretched out. Does he even box after this? Like, this ain't for me. I've seen that before. So. And then there's those special kind of men. And I mean this in a nice way, they're too stupid to recognize a loss. In boxing, you got to be a little cuckoo to be like committed. all boxers got a little in there. You have to. To take a job that you want to go every day and get your face punched in, you got to have a little. And the reason why I say that in a nice way, I know the like real fighters, right? They started off their career, lost their first 10 fights, and end up becoming a world champion. It's because if you look into a lot of those guys' story, they didn't have big amateur backgrounds. Those were the kind of guys that were learning on the job, fight by fight, like that. They didn't have huge amateur backgrounds. And they made themselves. I've seen guys like that. Like that. The losses don't affect them. They take the losses like as learning experiences. And then there's fighters that take a loss devastating. Never come back. George Foreman lost and quit. In the island of Puerto Rico, in fact, in a heat stroke, blamed his entire camp. They set him up. He walked away from boxing over a loss. Some fighters can't take a loss, and then there's those fighters, man. You got to remind them they lost. Bro, you know you lost your last 6 fights? He's in there just, sign me in, coach. Sign me up, send the contract. It doesn't affect them. I don't know why men are built different, but the mental part of boxing, there is. You have to have a quick memory. You know, you saw big baby there, Jared Anderson. He looked like kind of like a deer in headlights that was playing it off. It was good that he was exchanging. He got hit with some big shots, and he was still in the fight, but complaining the entire fight. Where is your fight mind at? I don't think as a warrior, these are the kind of things you should be talking about in a fight. I don't want to go 12 rounds. He's strong. Blah, blah, blah. He's doing that. He's doing this. He's talking to the ref. He blah, blah, blah. I mean, I didn't like that at all. I thought it made him look weak as a fighter. I don't know. I don't like this performance, and I don't like him talking shit about taking a fight with Martin Piccoli, because I'm gonna tell you right now, he needs to stay away from that man. He's just gonna get knocked out again, and it's gonna be worse. I think because once a man knocks you out like that, and he knows he can knock you out, he'll probably make it shorter. He'll probably knock him out in the first 2 rounds. And that the way that he's going, baby, in his performances, what was that? His last fight with Top Rank? Fuck it, let him go. Go to the PBC, bro. See how that works out for you. You know, these kids just want all the money and to be handed to them. Like, they don't want to fight anymore and give us these big fights. And, you know, and that's just like fighters like Tank Davis, man. Y'all seen him. He was in Bubble Wrap. I had him in Bubble Wrap. Que lindo. Yo, that shit is so funny. I found that shit hilarious. Where was that? Yo, my man was in Bubble Wrap. Yo, I think I take Davis in Bubble Wrap. That is hilarious. Oh, my God. That is funny. That's too funny, bro. Look at Tank up there. Soft as shit. Yo, my man. That's crazy. I found that hilarious. My man is dangerous too, bro. Tank, bro. He's one dangerous fucking dude, bro. And apparently, I don't know, man. I don't know what Tank's future holds, but I know Keyshawn Davis. A lot of people need to pump their brakes with Keyshawn right now. I think that you guys are prisoner or captivated in the moment, to tell you the truth. All this talk, oh, Keyshawn's ready right now. Keyshawn's ready for Tank type shit. No, he's not. Keyshawn is not ready for Tank. You keep fucking gassing Keyshawn up and let Tank turn around, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all gonna get that boy hurt. Keyshawn is good, man. Yeah, he's good. He's good against these guys. As you can see, he showed Dennis Berinchyk why he was not on his level. Dennis Berinchyk came up in boxing fighting like barroom brawls. Fighters like Navarrete. Tough men fights. But when it came to skill, timing, positioning, footwork, he was out of his league. And okay, Keyshawn Davis showed that. So much, in fact, it didn't take him long to get him out of there. He had him hurt to the body several times in the fight. And the only person that was really making it an awkward fight was Dennis. So look, congratulations to the victory, Keyshawn. But off of that kind of opponent, what would have Tank done to Berinchyk, you think? I think he would have knocked him out of his socks. If Keyshawn did that in 4, Tank would have did it in 1. There's no doubt in my mind Tank would have knocked that dude clean the fuck out. And it probably would have looked worse than what Keyshawn did. The referee steps in, yeah, Keyshawn into the body, bye, bye, you know? And then he goes down, and what he got up again, and Keyshawn, bam, hit him to the body, and I felt like it was over. He gripped his, okay, if I was to play that fight in my head with Tank would have did him worse than Frank Martin. He'd have knocked him out like he did Leo Santa Cruz, some shit like that. That whole open section where Tank lives and all those wild hooks that Berinchyk was throwing, Tank would have brutalized that man. And you could see the nerves in Keyshawn. He was trying to flow with the fight. He kept good poise about himself, right? He was trying to set his punches up. His timing was off a little bit. His punches were stifled a little. And, he had good movement. Ready for Tank? Don't you believe it? Tank might be getting a lot of criticism and a lot of people are shitting on him right now, right? And he might be considered to be a big duck, and we're all realizing a lot of this shit. For whatever the powers that be, whatever's going on over there, I'm not in the room. I have my thoughts on the matter, but I really don't know. I don't know why he's so skilled. And I can see it. I can see Tank's smartness as a fighter in the ring. And I'm not quite sure why he's not getting these fights. But I can tell you one thing right now. And I mean this. Keyshawn's good. He needs more work. He's not ready for Tank. If you put Keyshawn in there with Tank, you just handed Tank that belt. Keyshawn needs to play keep away with that belt. And I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't blame him. And if I was Keyshawn, I wouldn't fight Loma neither. Loma's getting old, right? He's had a lot of rest. Y'all seen what Loma looked like against Devin. Y'all seen what he looked like against George Camboza. You mean that's the same George Camboza that dropped Teofimo Lopez and walked off with his belt, right? Say what you want about George, but George has been in there banging it out with some of the top guys. He's been losing, but he's been losing to the top guys. Okay? Loma rocked him. Okay? What Loma stopped George when Devin Haney couldn't stop him. Devin Haney took him the distance, right? Lomachenko stops him. Go ahead if you want to. If you really think Keyshawn's ready for Loma, go ahead. You're going to hand Loma that belt. He's going to outsmart Keyshawn Davis, and you're going to find out on that day there's levels to boxing. And I've been trying to tell you, there's levels to this shit. Yeah, you look good against those kind of guys, those kinds of fighters. You get captivated in the moment and you start thinking, yeah, he's ready for Tank. He's ready for this guy. No. Who told you that? Where's your measuring stick? Who has Keyshawn Davis beat that has you convinced he's ready for these guys? Who? I'm right here. Out, man, listen. How do you share? Okay. Right? This one? Yep, that's the one. Here's the link. Anybody, feel free to explain to me at what point do you feel that Keyshawn Davis is ready for the top guys? Where's your evidence? Opinion? What you saw? What did you see? Against what grade kind of fighter do you give Dennis Berinchyk? Start there. Start there in your mind. What level? Is he an A+ level fighter? Was he a complete fighter? Or did you see a ballroom brawler? Just being a puncher. What did you see? What grade do you give him? So whatever grade you give him, that's the level of competition Keyshawn just fought. You're going to judge that fight to what grade opponent? Although Tank Davis is really criticized for not taking these fights, what grade do you give Tank Davis? Now, don't grade him on the headlines and the ridicule and the whys. Don't add that into the equation. What you need to grade him on is how his performance is in the ring. What does Tank look like and what's he doing? So judge him by that. What grade do you give Tank Davis as a fighter? As a fighter. So you take the grade you just gave Tank Davis as a fighter and you are comparing him to what? He's ready for who? Keyshawn Davis is not ready for Tank, bro. Not today. I'm not saying it can't be possible in the future, because the young man, Keyshawn, seems to be getting better with every fight. But don't get him fucked up. Let him grow as a fighter. Give him the same opportunity the world gave Tank. Let it be a little even for Keyshawn, bro. I want to see that fight, but I want Keyshawn to represent himself well. Why so early? Why so eager? What, you afraid Tank's going to lose? Yeah, he has a chance to lose against Keyshawn. But let Keyshawn develop. I think he'll get there where he'll give Tank a way better fight. You know, you don't got a lot of time. Tank's talking retirement. So, Keyshawn, you better step on the gas if you want that fight, but you're not ready right now. There's a little bit more boxing you need to understand before you fight Tank Davis. Tank understands some shit about boxing. He was in that. You've seen it firsthand. Tank, you're down on the scorecards. Tank didn't give two shits about that. He was on course with Frank the Ghost Martin. That was a masterful performance by Tank. Everybody's like, Frank's having success. Oh shit, he tagged. Look, there's a knot. All that was given to him by Tank. Tank gave him his false confidence. All the success Frank got him that night, Tank gave it to him. To get him that, yeah, I can exchange with this guy, to do that to him. Yo, every move in that fight, it was like check, 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 checkmate for Tank. When I saw that fight, what I saw, Frank the Ghost Martin didn't win 1 second of that fight, even when he was having success. Even when he put that knot, I was like, oh, that was a mistake. I was like, that was a mistake. It was a mistake for him to hit him with a shot like that, because it gave him the confidence that he could hit him. It was going to open him up. And he never hurt Tank at all in that fight. Tank destroyed that man. That was a beautiful. He took the fighter right out of Frank the Ghost Martin. So much, in fact, he would flinch at him and get big reactions. Tank was laughing at him in the ring. He had him in his back pocket by that, like the third round, bro. Frank was in quicksand, and he was drowning, and it seemed like he was the only one to know it. And before he realized he was in over his head, Tank knocked him out. Frank the Ghost Martin did not win 10 seconds of that fight in reality. Not 10 seconds. You can say what you want. Okay, fine. I get it. You all you watched was a fight. 2 men throwing punch. Yeah, I get it. That's okay. Fine. You think Frank the Ghost Martin had success in that fight. You think Mario Barrios had success in that fight. That Mario Barrios was actually winning in that fight. Mario Barrios wasn't winning not 2 minutes of that fight. All that was orchestrated by Tank. He gave him false confidence, all those combinations, everything, just to do that to him. He lulled him to sleep. Tank knows he has power. 1 shot knockout power Tank got. How did he start off the round with Mario Barrios? 6 seconds into the round, 1 leap. Yo, that was set up from the beginning. Timing, that was real smart shit for him to have that confidence to let. He knew it was there. Look at Tank's face in the whole fight. Every round, he was like a little kid just waiting out to complete his mission. He was like, don't put him in with Keyshawn. Keyshawn don't understand shit like that yet. Not yet. He doesn't understand boxing at that kind of level that Tank does. He doesn't. Tank he knows some shit. He does. Like, criticism aside, I'm just as baffled as you are why he's in the situation he's in. But to deny his skills or his ring IQ, come on, man. I would be mixing up all his controversy with who he is as a fighter. It will give me a screw perception of what he really is. Lull everyone to sleep, and everybody all of a sudden thinks he's this duck or this dude that ain't him. Fuck around and find out. Find out. Go ahead. Get it. Go ahead. Why? You'll see. I don't know what's going on. I just don't. I don't have any answers anymore. He's kind of like Teofimo Lopez for me now. They're both in the same category. I don't know whether they're going right, left, or I don't know, because Tank is in the category of Saul, of men and fighters where that they can snap their fingers tomorrow and get the biggest fights, and the people will love them all over again. They'll forget all this shit. I guarantee that. That's a fucking guarantee. Melo Pico, if that's not true. All Saul gotta say, right? I'll fight David the Monster, but it's a wrap. The boxing world will lose their mind. All Tank gotta say is, I'm fighting Shakur. Loma, somebody in the boxing world will be like, yup, let's go, Tank. He can make us forget everything. And that's why I put him in that kind of category with men and women that got that kind of power. that kind of attraction. He can honestly do that tomorrow, Tank. No bullshit. Uh, he would obviously have to disappoint some people because I've always felt like Tank is showing the wrong side loyalty. So definitely Tank's not gonna like, he's not making these fights because he's not crossing the street. I mean, this is fucking apparent by this point. Tank's not taking this fight because of Al Heyman in the PBC. All these guys are signed to these other, and Al Heyman's not doing business with them. Tank is being loyal to him, and now a lot of scrutiny falling on Tank because they like, yo, boom, Tank, you gotta fight these people. And let's check out who just joined the live stream. Who we got here? And he left. He'll be back, probably. So, like, the promotional side, I mean, Tank can really just like several ties with the PBC, I guess. I mean, whether they want to be with him or not, and he takes these fights, he can truly just snap his fingers like that. Yo, I guarantee everybody will forget all this shit. You'll forget it. That's boxing for you. He has that kind of power, Tank. So when I talk about letting fighters develop and shit, Keyshawn is caught up in this web of we wanting to see the best fighting the best right away. They're not even allowing him to even enjoy the championship for 24 hours before they're already throwing him into the lion's den with Tank. His very next fight, the world wants to see him fight Tank. I think that's unfair. I think you should allow Keyshawn Davis to defend that title a little bit. Allow him to grow and get championship experience. Know what it's like to be in these moments. Tank, that's unfair. Tank's been fighting on pay-per-view his last fucking few fights. Headlining events. He knows what the pressure is like. And you're going to throw Keyshawn Davis in there with what? You know what I'm saying? His first main event title fight? Tank's used to this shit. I don't know. Let me read some of your chats. What's up? Secret dance move. What? Canelo actually, what? I gotta put your shit up in order to read it. I hope you didn't write no dumb shit. Yeah, he achieved a lot in boxing, Canelo. He achieved a lot. Whether you want to or not, Tank is a 2-division world champion. Whether you want to give it to him or not, technically he is a 2-division world champion. It's funny and ironic, right? When boxing lies to you. And if you want to see boxing lie to you in real time, to present time, I dare you that right after the fight of Mario Barrio, where he went up to 140 and fought Mario Barrio for that secondary belt, the regular whatever, WBA, his very next fight, they announced Tank Davis from there on in as a 3-division world champion. The funniest thing happened on the night he fought Frank the Ghost Martin. Because on that night, they started announcing him as a 2-division world champion. And Tank Davis's next fight, I dare you, when he is announced to the ring, he will be announced as a 2-division world champion. But wait a minute. Weren't you announcing him as a 3? How did a fighter lose a division? See, because the boxing world knew that belt didn't count. But although for marketing and to help Tank's status in his fights, what they say? 3-division world champion. Sounds better, doesn't it? But once he got to 2-division, because at the time, he was only really a 1-division world champion when they were announcing him as a 3. Until he fought Frank the Ghost Martin and legitimately became a 2, All of a sudden, he lost the division. And that's where you can see boxing lifting its skirt. Because nowadays, the internet is undefeated. Once you put shit up, it's up there for the world to see. We can go back and look at it. And it's just the truth. How does a fighter lose a division? They was announcing Tank Davis as a 3-division world champion for his fights. And he wasn't even close to that. He was a 1 at the time. So that's what, sometimes the confusion lies. And people say, how is Tank not going to the Hall of Fame? What do you mean he hasn't accomplished anything? He's a 3-division world champion. Some people view him still like that because of what they advertise them like. And then once the boxer really starts to achieving real shit, now they got no problem calling you. Because now he's a legit 2-division world champion. He hasn't fought any champion yet. He's not that in my eyes. But on paper, he is. On paper, he is. And I'm not going to be able to dispute that. I can challenge how he got there. I can challenge the ways he got in position. What I can't challenge, that it's not official. I can't challenge that. That shit is official. Xander Zion destroyed him. Yes, he did. And I loved his performance. I talked about it in the beginning of this video. And I like everything that young Xander Zion did. And even the mistakes that he did, I'm also pointing out, this young man is 22 years old. And he's in the position that he's in. Now, there has been men that have been young, in their early 20s, that have accomplished some shit and have become world champions. But that's a very short list. So, the maturity that young Xander Zion is showing in the sport of boxing right now, and I'm expecting him to develop more as a fighter and get stronger as he ages through boxing. He showed that he had a beard on him, took some big shots. He knew how to make adjustments, and his cardio looked good. So I believe sky's the limit. Somebody's O had to go, and Xander Zion came out on top. Now, whether or not the WBO will push his #1 ranking to fight Sebastian Fundora, now that time will tell. It seems like at one point in time, there were a lot of people at Sebastian Fundora's throat. They saw him as a mark, kind of. They were like, oh, there's an easy opportunity at some world championships. Look at, all you got to do is beat this tall string bean. I don't think it's easier said than done. I think Sebastian Fundora is a little bit tougher as a fighter, and becoming a world champion can give you that confidence. Like, you're the champion. They're whispering in your ear, bro. They're saying you're the underdog on paper, whatever, Las Vegas. I don't give a fuck what they saying. Who's the champion? You are. Act like a champion. Sebastian Fundora has really been coming into his own, and he's really been using that long snapping jab now. He's implemented a couple new wrinkles into his arsenal. So I think that Sebastian Fundora is going to look a little bit more different, a little cleaner. And he does got pop. That motherfucker's 6'6". He's 6'6". So I'm like, you just look at him, he's just like a string bean of a man. And you're like, I can knock this tall ass skinny dude out. I know some flacos that can crack, right? And Sebastian Fedor is a warrior, man. He's a warrior. He's definitely a fighter. Him and his sister. His sister's a G, right? She's doing her thing. But back to Zander Zion, like, I mean, will he get his opportunity sooner than later? You know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And then, like, to the people that were saying that Keyshawn Davis took the path of least resistance, if you actually look at this, he was in the WBA ranking system. He could have stayed the course and challenged Gervonta Tank Davis for that belt and became his mandatory. Instead, he leapfrogged in the WBO and got the fight with Dennis Berinchyk because of Uncle Bob. So Uncle Bob was confident that Keyshawn can beat him. And since Uncle Bob was in a win-win situation. Both his fighters, you know what I mean? Like in-house fight type shit. He's going to win. He still wins. He still keeps the champ. So, and then instead of going the Tank Davis route, right? In which I feel, I mean, let me ask you a question. He took the path of least resistance. Wait, hold on. So, if your boxing promoter could have got you that title fight with Dennis Berinchyk because of what you feel the people, or, you know, it would have been more honorable and noble to stay in the ranking system in the WBA to challenge Gervonta Tank Davis. So you're telling me you would have passed up the opportunity to fight Dennis Berinchyk when they told you they can actually get you that fight. So you would have said, nah, fuck the belt. You never fought for, at this point in your career, you would have never had fought for a title. This would have been your first opportunity. So how did Keyshawn Davis take the path of least resistance when he was offered a title fight? I don't care about what the people feel about you and your skill level, or who do you want me to fight? That man is a world champion at the end of the day. Is that belt real? Yes. Well, then, damn it, I want to fight him. Tank didn't say yes to me yet. And how long would that be before he does say yes? So before the fans try to say, oh, he could have stood in the WBA ranking system and fought Tank Davis. Why didn't he do that? First of all, that's you saying that. Second of all, have you ever been offered a world title fight? And before you say you would have denied that fight with Dennis Berinchyk, which I don't believe no one on planet Earth would have denied it, having the skills and being Keyshawn Davis in this scenario, remind you, you're Keyshawn Davis, and they say, yo, fight Dennis for the WBO. No. You know what? Tell Dennis I'm not fighting him first. Why? Because the fans want to see me fight Tank. Tank, stop ducking me. I'm staying in the WBA ranking. Well, here we are, 4 fights later, Keyshawn, and you're no closer to fighting Tank Davis. When you look back, does that bother you that you passed up on the WBO champ? You should have fought Dennis Berinchyk. Now Shakur Stevenson is your unified world champion because he took the fight, and you still don't got no belt. And now you can't fight Shakur. What position would he have been? You got to take that fight, man. You got to take that Dennis Berinchyk fight, man. Are you out of your mind? Right? That was a no-brainer. And people are like, oh, you should have stood it. Man, just stop, bro. Just stop. You guys act like you guys are passing up on world title fights like this. You guys are so arrogant. I'm better. My name is bigger than a world title. Fucking humans. They're so arrogant. I don't need a belt. In this day and age, It's not about belts. Really? Well said from someone that never had a belt. Win a world title and tell me how that changes your life. How a world title can bring honor and respect all the way down to your distant cousins. Now everybody knows you. Everybody's your cousin. You just brought up your family name. You're a world champion. But according to these guys, they're going to get all that kind of respect. They're going to open up a restaurant called Champ. Whatever it is, without a world championship. I want to see where they do that at. I want to see what man is just Jake Paul doing some shit, ain't he? But I know what Jake Paul ain't doing. He can't call himself Champions Jake Paul Gym, right? It doesn't say that. It doesn't say Jake Paul's championship. No. Champion who? Whoa. You ain't never been a champion. There's no champion, nothing. There's Jake Paul. There's your name. You pretty big, homeboy. You got that social media. You brought it with you. So you already came famous. You were already famous coming into the sport. Got more famous in the sport. Congratulations to you. But you're not that person. You were already established. Give me a guy. No social media. I mean, nothing. He just walks in the sport and just complete dominance, fame, fortune, that his name lives on forever. Not in the moment. Immortality. Right? Yeah, right. The Jake Pauls of the world are for the moment. In 10 years, when he gets old, 20 years, if he never wins a world championship, they're never going to speak of the Jake Paul era again in the history of boxing. But if you're a world champion, your name is cemented. And if you become a Hall of Fame fighter, your name is cemented in the Halls of Fame for immortality. So, what can a world title do for you? How can it change your life? Ha! You're damn right, belts are everything. That's just like going to NFL and saying, fuck the Vince Lombardi trophy. We're just going to declare ourselves the best. Then Dan Marino needs to be the greatest fucking quarterback of all time. He definitely had the best arm. One of the greatest, more accurate quarterbacks I've ever seen. But he ain't got no belts. What did that do for his career with no titles? No rings, no hardware. Where is he among Jessel? Fucking Eli Manning. Dan Marino can't pop off, talk shit to Eli Manning. He got 2 rings, bro. Eli, he beat the fucking GOAT twice, though. Those rings are powerful. Dan Marino can't ever speak to him. And Dan Marino was a way better quarterback than Eli. Way better, bro. But no belts. No glory. No glory. No, hey, champ, how you doing? Let me open the door. Champion. You ain't never had no belts. Your name's not going to live forever, bro. You're just going to be in the moment fighter. They'll remember you for the moments you had in the moment. Probably be big. You know, Jake Paul doing it pretty big. I got to admit. In the moment. That man will be forgotten as quick as he came here. If he don't get no belts. If he get a belt, that changes everything. Then all of a sudden they're going to attach all that shit to his belt. And rightfully so, he can. Rightfully so, he could. He's just getting better with each fight. He's developing good. He really is. Xander Zion. Where does he go from here? Like, I don't. They make all these promises to these fighters, right? Oh, title eliminator, title this. How many title eliminators has David the Monster Benavidez fought in? How many interim champions does he have to win and defend? For them to always say, no, this is going to get you the Saul fight. Fight after fight. He was no closer to that fight than when he started. And all these promises, like I broke it down the other day, they were like 2 fights scheduled for a title eliminator for the same belt. Remember we were talking about it, guys? It was like, I was like, in all these promises that you can't always believe that, okay, Xander took this fight, and the reason why he took this fight because of the promises they made to him too. Son, you win this fight, you're going to get a shot at your title. And then all of a sudden, right after Booker, because we know Sebastian's, he's fighting Booker, right? After that fight, we see Sebastian fighting Errol Spence Jr. or something. Or one-time Keith Thurman. And you're looking at Xander Zion like, yo, Xander, like, I thought you were the next. And Xander's like on the mic again, trying to explain his situation. Like he did with that other situation. I don't want you guys to think that I ducked the smoke. I accepted the fight, but he went and fought Ortiz. And Xander felt like he had to address the public. Right? He wanted to get in front of it. Same shit I feel is gonna happen when we watch Sebastian Fundora fight a bigger name. And we see Xander Zion on the sideline not fighting him. And we're asking ourselves, what the fuck is going on? Didn't you promise him? Wasn't this fight for a title eliminator? So, look, I just want you to have patience with these situations. There's a lot of moving parts. I feel he's ready. You may feel like he's ready. His promoter might not feel he's ready. Or his manager. Right? There's a lot of moving parts. And if like I said, if Sebastian Fundora chooses to fight a bigger name, the WBO is a fair organization. Yes, he can put in the paperwork to put pressure on Sebastian Fundora. Let's see if Xander Zion's team does the same thing that Tim Tszyu was doing to Jermell Charlo. Right? The biggest mistake to this day, I believe Tim Tszyu made was take step-aside money for he could fight Cosenza, Jermell Charlo to unify. Then that fight ended up being a draw, and he had to run it back. See, if you're a fighter and you really want your shot at the title, don't take that step-aside money. Don't be a step-aside dude because they're going to treat you as such. Jermell Charlo took him as a joke the minute he took that step-aside money. So much, in fact, that when he went to get his title shot, he chose to fight Saul and vacate and sacrifice the WBO to Tim Tszyu. Because Tim Tszyu never beat a champion for that belt. He was emailed the belt. Tim Tszyu was an email champion. So, that's the thing. Now this is a race to the belts. This is a race to Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian Fundora became like a wanted man. Seemed like everybody was coming after Sebastian. No sooner that he won them belts, I want to fight you. Everybody took to Twitter. And Sebastian was like, bro, you're not even a boxer. You play basketball. I still want to fight you. And NBA players were texting him, yo, I want to fight you. They tall too. You know? And everybody was at him. So, you know, I'm not sure if he gets the fight. I'm not as confident just because they said, oh, title eliminator, Xander Zion, you're going to get your neck. Man, I heard that too many times. So, you know, I look, I don't know. Same thing, listen, same situation. Yo, they was arguing with that man since October, man, with Tio in negotiation. Now, they were real in negotiation with Tio. What Tio do? He wants to walk out and eat bananas and mock other fighters. Tio is like, yo, Tio's been on some shit, bro. Talking about Puerto Rican fighters are the easy. He fought like one dude in a sparring match, and I heard the dude dropped him. How many Puerto Rican fighters has Tio ever fought in his career? I'll wait. You're going to see the astounding number 0. Like, I'm like, what a thing to say. I can see if you were just like the Puerto Rican killer. Like Floyd's uncle there, the Mexican assassin. He used to come out with the Mexican hat. He used to brutalize the Mexicans, right? Because he actually fought some. How the hell are you going to say Puerto Ricans are the easy? You put them in front of me, I'll be... Bro, you ain't never fought none. And the biggest payday you were ever going to get, 4 times more than you've ever made, right? You walk away from the fight? But yeah, just a week ago, you know what I am? I'm a prize fighter. And I want the money and I want the bag and I want them to pay me accordingly. Tio. Oh, you're a prize fighter? They just offered you 4 times. That's a prize fight. Why didn't you take the fight? I'll tell you why. Because Sabrina Matias was going to beat the dog shit out of you, bro. And I thought you were going to be the better fighter. But by what you did, you revealed your skirts. Tio pulled his skirt way up here. His complete vagina was showing. Like, bro, what do you mean? Like, every lie he told didn't even make sense to the next lie, right? I want out of Top Rank because I feel they have slave wagers. They're not promoting me well. My name is Teofimo Lopez, and I think I can do better elsewhere. So, Tio, on your last fight, why don't you fight for a title? Because if you fight for a title at Top Rank and you bring the organization a title, it ties you into a 5-fight deal. And I don't want to get a 5-fight deal because I don't want to be with Top Rank anymore because they're not promoting me right. So Top Rank says, Tio, fine. We're not offering you a title fight. You will not sign with us for 5 more years. And guess what? You got your payday 4 times the amount of what your last payday was. You got everything you wanted with Subriel Matias. Here it is. And he denies it. Then he chooses to try to fight for a title fight to lock in a 5-year deal with Top Rank that he said publicly he did not want to do. He was all over the world seen with every boxing promoter and they all gave him the boot. You're a bum, son. Get out of here. And he went crawling back to Top Rank. Then, just before the Keyshawn Davis, he finds the most dysfunctional literacy writer in the world to send them a cardboard box with some just random pieces of fruit that was going to poke Keyshawn, allegedly. Because you know what Teal's going to say? Just because I was smiling eating a banana doesn't mean I sent them the box. But if you ask me, Teal wrote the note. Teal was like, listen, I prepared this document here. Put this handwritten note on the box, all right? It explains everything. Yo, Teal wrote the note, right? And Teal's just on some dumb shit, bro. He really is. And I've lost a lot of respect for the man. I still won't, you know, he's a good fighter. Teal, he's a decent fighter. It's one of those cases where I tell you guys, I don't let his antics, give me a false impression of the fighter that he is. I acknowledge the fighter and the smarts that he is. He's getting sparring with Saul now. So I see Teal's starting to make slight improvements. Let's see what he does in the ring without his mouth. I've gotten to the point where I just want to shut Teal's mouth up and just let me see what you do in the ring, man. Just go get knocked out and go on and fade away, bro. Somebody knock this dude out and just fade him away, bro. He's no longer becoming good for the sport of boxing anymore. He's like being so controversial now that I don't think his performance can back the controversy up. So his performance are going to be less than stellar, and he's going to be more controversy. He's not good for the sport no more at that point. Just somebody knock him out and just go ahead with yourself, bro. If not, Teal, make a fucking turnaround. I don't know what to tell you, bro. George says Munguia is getting his rematch after getting knocked out with no belt. Matias didn't even get beat up, and he has to deal with the haters and look, negativity, and these fools get all the lamplight. Whew. That's boxing for you. That's boxing for you, bro. Right? I could see where Teofimo Lopez, his antics correlate with the perception of what boxing is advertising. Meaning, Rolly gets all these fucking headlines. He's getting a fucking main event card with Ryan Garcia. There's a belt on the line. And who the fuck is Rolly as a boxer? It's not his boxing skills that is getting them this main event. It's his shit talking, his personality, his antics, and how the people laugh at him and with him. Because it's both. Right? And Teofimo Lopez, for the most part, is a decent fighter. But he's not getting these headlines like this. And he's not in the position to make this kind of money. Where that Rolly is about to make way more money you've ever made. With Ryan. And Teo must be sitting there saying, what the fuck do I gotta do? What do I gotta say? And all of a sudden, he's calling dudes monkey, sitting on the side of the curb with his sting. He's eating bananas. He's Puerto Ricans ain't this. And I could see what Teal's doing is that Teal's not a real shit talker. So it all comes out wrong. He wants to say the most ear-catching, disrespectful comments. He just doesn't know how to blur it. When he blurs it out or does something, it's not as funny as that one dude in the hood that can say anything and it just sounds right. You know those one dudes, you can't go back and forth with them because they got a good mouth. You're just going to end up wanting to beat them up because you can't out-talk them. They slick. You know those guys. Teal's not him. He wants to be that guy that has those quick rebuttals, funny. But every time Teal says something, it's just like, bleh! And he just takes his whole foot and he just goes, ah! And then all of a sudden, Teal's just like, he doesn't know how to do it. And here comes Rolly. And Teal must be sitting back saying, yo, what Rolly's saying doesn't even make sense. Rolly be saying some off the wall shit. And everybody's like, Rolly, Rolly, Rolly. Yo, it must drive Teal crazy. It must drive Teal. Look, Ryan's not even more skilled than Teal. What's Ryan doing? What kind of money is Ryan fighting for? Yo, that must fuck with Teal so bad. He knows he's a better fighter. He's just not a bigger draw. Teal must be saying, what do I gotta do? I just think Teal's approach is all wrong. You know? Teal's been exposed. What 100 or 1,000 times are you talking about? He's been exposed so many times. You're gonna have to start to narrow which one you're talking about in order to for that I can know. He's been exposed in so many different areas. You're gonna have to like narrow that shit down. You know what I mean? He's just been in too much controversy, bro. Way too much, man. George Martinez says, the funny thing is that they try to imitate. I mean, I talked about that. And, you know, although I want to share my insight, like, I got to remember this is the way I see it, right? And if I was in a boxing match and I saw a legend like Roy Jones in the other corner, you know, him making his little comments like you're saying, and, you know, it could be a little intimidating. They're trying to use all of that the night, all the questions they have for you at 154 for young Xander Zion, you know, and this in the moment, you know, for some fighters that can be overwhelming to actually see Roy Jones right there. Sometimes, you know, and you know, you could show too much respect. Young Xander Zion's been in the game long enough. I'm pretty sure he's met some of these men in attendance at some of these fights. Perhaps that wasn't the first time he's ever run into Roy Jones. And for everything that built it up to that moment in his life, it showed. He wasn't going to allow Roy's comments or the perception of anything in that night to steal this victory away from him. And congratulations for young Xander Zion to being able to look past all of that. The Roy Jones comments, him saying he looked into his eyes and whatever. None of that affected young Xander Zion on this night. He came out and he performed well. And above expectation to some people, I expected this. I know that anything can happen in a fight, and I was nervous. Because at any time, one punch can change the fight. You could be winning. And just boop, over. You know, so that possibility is always there until the final bell rings or you stop your opponent. So those nerves and those worries didn't end for me until the referee stepped in the 9th round. And it was over. And I could take a deep breath and assess what he did in the fight. And I did. I broke it down in this video right here. Please don't forget to give these videos a like. Lewis, what's up? What are you saying there? Lewis says, Tio should retire. He should retire. You know, man. I mean, I don't know, guys. I shared what I feel on the situation. You guys know how I feel. And I just think that, you know, this sport can really push you into a corner you really didn't want to be in. You know, and Tio might have felt like he had to do some things to get some people's attention. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what his choices were, but I do have a pretty decent memory, right? And I remember Tio was on his bullshit way back. Even before all this new shit, he had did some shit way back. And he was in trouble way back. I forget exactly what the situation was again. And so he's had a pattern of this, of trying to be this funny guy. He's not. It all comes out wrong. You should recognize, bro, you're not that dude. He probably hangs around in all these events and he runs into that guy and he always wants to be that guy. That guy that's always slick, talking shit, and he's real sharp with his mouth, but it's a double-edged sword because it gets him in trouble, right? Teal wants to be that guy. He's just not. He's just not. And as far as his boxing career, Teal, my man, he's starting to fall off, kid. Yeah, these John Klajic dudes, they're not the way. The Sando Martin was a big risk, and look what happened with that. Like, Teal, fuck it, kid. You can't be fighting these Josh Taylor. As a matter of fact, isn't Jack Catterall and Arnold Barboza fighting? Oh shit, they should be fighting. It's an early fight. Damn it. I'm a hop off. I want to go check out that fight real quick. Yeah, I gotta see how Jack Catterall looks, because if he wins in this division, he's an active, dangerous threat right now in this division. So he's really gonna make some noise. I think he's gonna destroy Arnold Barboza. I want to see how he does it. I think Jack Catterall is gonna beat him. His patience is good, and his timing with his punches is even better. He knows the when and the where. He definitely knows the when and the where. Jack Catterall is a good. He just systematically played with Regis Progress, man. Regis Progress kept making the same mistake, and he couldn't figure out why. Jack Catterall showed real poise in that fight, and he lured them in, man. And Regis Progress was just too impatient, and he didn't have the right approach. He could have. Some of the things he was doing, Regis Progress, he had success with, and he kind of should have stuck to that. And he just got anxious and kept coming in. And he was just showing him that shot. He all night he was. I got it right here. You cross that threshold, I'm gonna hit you. And he taught him a lesson. It was about patience. It was about having the mental fortitude to wait it out, not get frustrated. Yeah. You think Jack is winning? The fight's on? Is it on right now? They fighting right now? Where's the fight? That Abdullah Mason kid, bro. Yo, he's fast as fuck, boy. Sharp, sharp. They got to bring him along good. I like that the fact that he didn't really call out nobody. He didn't put that kind of pressure on himself. It's good. His father wants him to develop as a fighter. Uh, he beat the brakes off Jaime there, bro. He's a sharpshooter for real. He's definitely a sharpshooter. And yeah. Oh, what was I looking for? Oh, the jacket. I get caught up with all these fights. I lost what I was doing. I kept looking at the Keyshawn Davis highlights. Like, he's pretty good, man. You know, these kids learn with every fight. You know, they with the experience. You know, him coming off being dropped like that. You know, in his last two fights. You know, it could be in the back of his mind. It was definitely in the back of his dad's mind and his brothers. I can tell you that much, right? They wanted him to perform well and also give a good account of himself, so that can start to put him back in that trajectory where, remember, son, you're still undefeated. Yeah, you've been dropped, but you're still undefeated. His father kept whispering in his ears that he's a superstar. You're a superstar, son. You're a superstar. And I was saying, I'm not sure if that's the right thing you should be saying, but maybe between them that'll wake him up. I'm not, so he had to remind them of who he was or who he is. He's like, yo, you got to drop, son. You're fucking Abdullah Mason, bro. You're a superstar, bro. This shit happens. Get it out of your head. Whoop his ass. You know what I mean? So, and he did. He did. These fighters got to remember in these kind of moments when the crowd starts cheering and they get out of their feet and you got the guy staggered. Anticipate on the other guy throwing a punch back. You, all offense, leave yourself vulnerable to being countered. A lot of decent fighters got caught like that. And it's some of the coaches' biggest fears. When they see you get close, we cringe. Because that shit can go either way. It's not a guarantee your fighter is going to land his punch. You know, as Xander Zion saw, he got caught. His motherboard glitched out for that quick second. He went, I'm back. Jab, 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 I'm back. And he got it together. Shit happens in a fight. You are fighting, right? Okay. All right. I think you might get punched once or twice. But, yeah. Absolutely. So, fight fans, I'm going to be cutting this short. Please, do me a favor. Hit the like button for me. Thank you for everybody that came in here and tuned in here at Round One Sports TV. Thank you, chat family. I hope you guys had a wonderful time here on this Saturday. We had this early fight popping off. But like always, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. You guys have been amazing. I am your host, Edwin, and I'll see you on the next one.